I'm making this video because I can. Now, let's go deeper into that. I'm making this video because I can, because I have privilege, because I'm safe, because I have energy, because I have resources, because I can dive deeper, because I have historical records, because I have tools at my disposal. Not everyone in the world right now can say all of those things, but if you're someone that can, I advise you to watch this video and find out how you can be a better moral consumer of global news and current events. I really hope that you find these tools helpful and that it gets you thinking. It's so crucial to be fact-checking our information nowadays. So today I'm going to show you a really easy way that you can check to see if your article that you're reading has been flagged to have any kind of false information. So I'm at Google now. I'm going to type in Google Fact Check Explorer. So Google has a toolbox extension that has a fact check search tool in it. So I'm going to click on this first result, which is the toolbox.google.com/factcheck/explorer. So it brings me up to where I can type in this search box. So now I'm going to type something in to see if there's any articles that have misinformation having to do with that topic. So I'm going to click on the search bar. I'm going to type in Palestine. So the first thing that comes up is a claim that was made in a viral post. And it says, video from Palestine shows child crying over father. So this was flagged for having false information. It says, fact check, is this video of grieving child from Gaza? I can click on this to check the facts, and it says that it's been investigated and this child is not from Gaza. So now I can do with that information what I will and know that this footage was not taken in Gaza. Now I want to be clear that this tool only shows you the things that actually were flagged for misinformation after being checked by fact checkers. So if I take, for instance, an article that I read earlier today from The Guardian about Israel harvesting organs, I can copy the URL from the article, I can go to my tab, and I can paste that URL into the search bar. And what I see now is that there are no results coming up from this article. What that means is that either the article wasn't fact-checked by the fact checkers, or it was and they didn't flag it for any misinformation. What can I do now that I've done that to see if it isn't the case that it just wasn't reviewed? Well, now I have to look into who posted the article that I'm reading. So this article comes from The Guardian. Now, to look into that, I will go to Google and I will type in just the name of where my article comes from. So in this case, we're going to type in The Guardian. Okay, so now that I've done that, I can see here that The Guardian is a news organization that has been posting for a number of years. I can look into who their editors are. I can look into when they were founded. I can look into who their journalists are. I can find all that information and do my research to see if they're a reputable source. But let's take that one step further, because especially right now, during everything that's going on, it's very easy to get misinformation even from historically reputable sources, because even reputable sources don't always get the best information. So how can I take this one step further? Well, I can go back to my original article on The Guardian, and I can go in and I can look at where they got their sources and who they're quoting. Now, scrolling through this Guardian article, I can see that they've cited the Swedish newspaper Aftonbladet as one of their sources on this topic. So if I go back to Google and I type in Aftonbladet, I can then search and look at that newspaper. It says here it's a Swedish newspaper. I can look into who founded the newspaper, how long they've been publishing articles, who their journalists are, and specifically, I can look into the investigation that they did on the Israel topic of the organs that was cited in my article that I read on The Guardian. You're going to want to go back to your article and do this a number of different times. So go back to your article, scroll through, and find where they've quoted people or articles and see where they've cited their sources. So if I do that, I can scroll down and I can see that they've quoted a Dr. Mira Weiss. I'm going to copy that. So she worked at the Forensic Institute in Tel Aviv that was harvesting the organs. Now I can paste her name into my Google search and I can read all about different things that she's published, where she received her doctorate, what she does for a job, her background, and decide if I think that she is another reputable source or not. Another great tool that you can use when you're trying to be a moral consumer of information in the modern world is local libraries or government pages that have a number of different historical documents and historical resources in which you can get a pretty good idea of what the background is to whatever topic it is that you are learning about. There's a number of great resources that fall into that category. One of them that I like to use is the Library of Congress, but there's also another one that I like to use is history.state.gov, /historical documents, which is from the Office of the Historian. So if I go there, I can type in their search bar whatever I want to know about. Let's find historical documents about Palestine. So I'm typing in Palestine, and I'm searching. And when I search that, it brings up any historical documents that they have involving Palestine. The first one that comes up is from 1949. It's the Near East, South Asia, and Africa. It's a memorandum by the current, at the time, acting Secretary of State in 1949. I can read all about what they had to say about Palestine back then when they were talking about Britain. If I want to use something from the Library of Congress, I can type in Palestine there, and what comes up is a PDF titled Arabs, Palestine, British Survey. Now, when I open this, it takes me to a PDF, and it gives me a document that was published in May of 1950 by the British Survey. Now, the title of that is The Arabs of Palestine, and I can read what this viewed the situation in 1950 in Palestine when the British were getting ready to give over Palestine to Israel. This is what that PDF looks like, and I can flip through and read everything they had to say from 1950 in the British Survey. When we talk about being good, moral consumers of current news and information, what we want to do is fact-check our information, do our own historical research, and get a good idea of what was going on in the history of the topic that led to our current point of where we are, and dive deeper into who we think is a reputable source and why. I hope that those were some tips that proved to be helpful for you. I think it's very important that we all try to take these practices and really implement them in our day-to-day life, especially in the current age of the internet, and especially with current events going on that are super divided, super high emotional topics where we want to get the facts and the honest truth. Free Palestine, free Indigenous people, free all prisoners of war, and I hope that tomorrow is a more peaceful and loving reality. But that can only happen if we all do our part to consume the news and consume articles and viewpoints and internet tidbits in the most moral way and ethical way that we can. So I hope you'll join me in trying to do our best especially from people who are more privileged and have that opportunity, and look into these issues from the least biased, most truthful way that we can. Let me know if you'd like more videos like this one as well. All right.